Good morning, good afternoon, or good night from wherever you are watching these World Championship games, the 10th annual. Actually, we shouldn't say annual because we missed a year or two in there, but the 10th edition of the IFAF World Flag Football Championships. My name is Danny Gewirtz, and I am here with Dovie Rabinowitz, and we are going to set to broadcast a very important game for the host country, Israel. They'll be playing against Germany, and Coach Wiebel told me that this is the game that they have to win today.
This is a huge game. Winner will, first of all, be positioned to win the group, but more importantly, advance. They'll be guaranteed to, if it's Israel, they will be guaranteed to advance to the playoff round, the medal round, as well as advance to the World Games in Alabama next year.
Coach Wiebel, so far, Israel has outscored their opponents 165-25, breezing through their first three games. This one's going to be a little bit tougher, but things have broken right so far for Coach Wiebel and his Israeli team. They had two pretty easy games, then a slightly tougher game against Thailand, but that should put them well positioned for this next challenge, which will be the German team. I happened to see them yesterday, Dovie. They looked pretty good. They have a couple of very, very good receivers out there. They have to watch out for Fabian Achenbach, number 25, and Benjamin Cleaver, who really has a strong arm.
Well, the team looks great. They've really put together with a very quick rebuild for Team Israel. They've got a good mix of veterans and new talent. Coach Wiebel has put together an amazing team. They're very confident. Coach Wiebel describes their defense as having swagger. He really likes it. He says that they can stop any team, including potentially the U.S.
Israel looking for its first medal in these IFAF championships. This game will determine a long way to getting that medal. So we'll be back with the broadcast in just a moment. Hello, everybody. Good morning from overcast Jerusalem. Quite a different story with the weather today. Today's weather is rather overcast, getting a little bit chilly, probably in anticipation for tomorrow's rainstorm, which they say is coming our way. Anyway, we're happy to be bringing you the Israel-Germany men's game here. Huge game for Team Israel. Slightly less so for the German team. Both actually teams have to win. Well, if Israel wins, they have a definite spot in the quarterfinals. So probably one of the hugest games for Israel. I think maybe in flag football, in their flag history.
Yeah, I would agree, Danny. This is big for Israel, and you can see they know it. There's no doubt about it. They're coming out very, very fired up. Maybe even a little bit nervous, but that's a good nervous energy that they're hoping to channel for a crucial victory right now against Germany. You're right that the weather's starting to look like it could play a part. And it's certainly cooler, but no precipitation yet. Yesterday, of course, was idyllic. It was Edenic. It was downright prelapsarian. Now getting more chilly, but I think still warmer than most of the Germans are used to in December.
Israeli head coach Kenny Wiebel told me before the game that they are ready for anything the Germans have to throw at them today. They realize that they have a very, very talented receiving core. They got a quarterback with a big arm, and defense is what's going to win them the game today.
Both teams coming with very, very tall rushers who specialize in blocking the vision in the middle of the field.
Rami Farkas with the first, and he hits Nabil Bnei Shalom with a pass down, and first down for Israel.
Quickly turning into one of Farkas' favorite targets, the young Bnei Shalom, rising star.
Of Rami Farkas leading the Israeli team. He's an experienced quarterback. He's played for many years, and he knows how to find his receivers, picks out his reads. And here goes Farkas rolling right, throws the ball. Couldn't see, I was blocked. But the
looks
catch
like
is
it's being ruled as a catch inbounds.
Made by Ben Tobin, one of the rookies here. Israel has a nice mix of rookies and veterans here, an overhaul team. Kenny Wiebel took them to the U.S. for some scrimmages. The team is very, very excited and hopeful that they will make the quarterfinals. Farkas back to pass. He throws again to the right to David Abel, who, there's a flag.
Now it'll be interesting to see which way this flag goes.
Abel caught the ball. He caught the ball, and he went out of bounds. way before the end zone, but there was a flag on the play.
Most penalties for contact are against the defense, but in this case, it could be against Abel for either diving or for creating that contact.
And the indication is that it's going to be going against Germany.
And a touchdown.
And did they actually call this a touchdown?
Yes. Yes, the touchdown
Wow,
stands.
okay.
The penalty was against the defense, which means that it'll be enforced. First of all, of course, the touchdown will count, but the penalty will be enforced on the ensuing extra point attempt.
Here on the replay,
There's
it
the
shows
catch.
that
Yeah,
Abel
the defender is
avoided the
clearly
first defender.
moving.
Israel going for the extra point now. Bunch set. Farkas back to pass, looking right, throwing left, and
Got
Abel
Abel at the
with
front
a
of the end zone.
falling catch in the end zone. And Israel goes out to the quick 7-0 lead. Good start for Coach Sweebel and the Israeli team, Dovey.
That was a 2-point attempt. It was from the 5-yard line because of the penalty enforcement. So it's an 8-0 lead for Israel.
So 8-0. And Benjamin Cleaver now waiting for the snap. Goes back to pass, throws towards his left, and one of his many talented receivers there.
The German receiver with an
Daniel
interesting move
Phillips
after
with that
the catch. Interesting move after the catch. Not called for blocking the flag. German is known for on the football field for methodical work. Not too much quarterback
Ball
stuff.
at the German 16-yard line. Cleaver back to pass. And he dropped the ball. Oh, and they're going to call a penalty on the rusher,
Michael Tover.
Michael Tover.
Tover, somewhat annoyed. He was going for the flag. Ended up getting the ball, which could have been called protecting the flag, and instead he's called for the penalty himself for pulling the ball out.
And that'll give the German team a first down.
First down.
Just across the midfield line.
Yes, not where one typically wants to have the first down. It's good to have the first down, but
you'd rather get that extra play by putting the ball or getting the first down just before the midline.
Exactly, Danny.
Cleaver back to pass, throws towards his left.
And there's a missed flag.
A couple of missed flags there. And that was, again, one of their very, very talented receivers, Michael Bell. Michael Bell on that catch. And they are situated inside the 10-yard line, actually what they call here the red zone, at the 6-yard line. So Israel's going to have to tighten up the defense if they want to prevent the Germans from scoring here.
German receiving core with a significant height advantage, I would say.
No rush. Cleaver back to pass, throws to his right, and a easy touchdown there thrown by...
Bit of confusion on the Israeli defense there on the assignments.
Benjamin Cleaver throwing to number 10, Fleming Klein, one of the Klein brothers. There's two Kleins here, both of them very, very talented receivers, and that one was caught by Fleming.
Germany also going for 2, and I wonder if these teams are expecting a shootout.
Cleaver brings his team up to the line. Snap to Cleaver. Tover is pulling the flag.
Tover with the
Michael
sack.
Tover again. He is becoming a force to be reckoned with in this tournament, Dovey.
Yes, and here facing the tall German quarterback, the obstructing the view is not as much of an issue, but he still uses his good handwork to get the sack and keep Israel with a 2-point lead.
Okay, Bnei Shalom, David Abel out there towards the left, and this one goes to Gideon Rice over to the left side. Nice short gain for Israel.
Gideon was the primary receiver on that. All they wanted was those 6-7 yards, and they got it. Actually, a full 8, I would say.
Israel with a wide set. Farkas gets the snap, looks left, looks right, and he sees Gideon Rice, and he got the first down. There was a missed flag pull just before the midline. Could have prevented that first down, but Rice eluded that and got the first down for Israel.
Nice move by Gideon. Couple of consecutive receptions for him. He's a real veteran.
Farkas again with the ball. Looks right, looks left. Trying to avoid and hits David Abel for a nice little 6-yard gain.
And Farkas is dealing well with this rush. The German rusher really towering over him, obstructing his view. We've seen a couple of jump throws, but he's managed to get it in there to his receivers very effectively.
Okay. Farkas waiting for the snap, takes it, sees Gideon Rice to his left, and now throws it long to B'nai Shalom in the end zone, and he comes down with it. In between two defenders, B'nai Shalom with Israel's second touchdown of the day.
That was a dangerous pass. Shows an incredible amount of faith that quarterback Avrami Farkas has in his receivers, including his young receiver, B'nai Shalom. Here we see he looks, he fidgets, he buys himself a bit of time and heaves it.
B'nai Shalom just went up and got that ball in the middle of two German defenders. Just a great athletic play by Nabil Ben Shalom.
Yes, really a perfect pass and incredible catch.
Israel going for one. Farkas looks right again, throws it, and this one is picked off. And finally has the flag pulled to stop Germany. But Israel goes out to a 14-6 lead now.
I'm very impressed with the quarterbacking of Avrami Farkas for Israel. I know, of course, he's a star quarterback, very experienced, but the way that he's able to make those jump passes, very impressive.
Well, that last one was more Nabil Ben Shalom than it was Avrami Farkas, but
oh, no question. Nabil had to go up and get that, had to make an incredible play, but the ball was placed
it was where he could
exactly
possibly
where
get
it should have been.
Correct, you are. It was just a
I'm
great
not
play.
sure I could have even done that every time.
Back in your heyday, maybe, Dovey.
No heyday here.
No heyday. Give yourself some credit. Everyone has a heyday.
Maybe some hay.
Germany
Very few
at
days.
their own 10-yard line. Cleaver back to pass, throws over to his left to Fabian Offenbacher.
That was a nice button hook
Germany's
there.
very
nice,
talented wide receiver.
nice stop on a dime.
And there was a whistle before his flag was pulled.
Yeah,
Dovey.
it was dead as soon as he made the catch because he had a knee on the ground. So as soon as he
Okay.
became the ball carrier, he was dead for having a knee on the ground.
Nabil B'nai Shalom just walked by us and gave us that wink like, hey, you know, what do you think? Cleaver back to pass, throws towards the middle of the field, and another one of those talented receivers, this time Michael Bell. Michael Bell with the catch.
And cornerback Effie Michan thinking interception on that one. He had dreams in his twinkling in his eyes of a pick, but pass was completed.
Germany gets their first down on this drive and will now start anew from the 20-yard line. Fleming to the right, Achenbacher to the left. Cleaver back to pass. We know he's got an arm. And Cleaver hits Offenbacher again. This time right at the 5-yard line, it looks like.
Setting a very good position for the German offense.
And Offenbacher can get any pass, Dovey. I broadcast one of his games. He really is a very talented receiver and very aggressive and he just gets everything.
Yes, knows how to come to the ball in traffic.
Cleaver back to pass here, and he decides to run and avoids the flagpole. And finally, Michael Tover gets it, but there is a flag on the play.
Tover felt he had the
He was
sack.
over the line. I think he was over the line when he passed it. So, an illegal throw there.
Yeah, so they're spotting it back.
Germany now backed up to its own 11-yard line. 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. This will be third down for the Germans. Israel's defense is being tested early here.
Yes, they have a bit more breathing room now. 11 yards instead of 6.
Very, very important stop.
I'd be thinking
From
if
the
I were
Israeli
Germany, I'd be
side.
thinking about maybe a fade of some sort.
Cleaver back to pass. His receivers are going out. And, oh, Michael Bell. The pass just in front of Effie Michan, who didn't get there in time. And Michael Bell with the touchdown and the catch.
Really threw a dart there, threaded the needle. If it had arrived just a moment later, it would have been knocked down or even picked.
Germany going for the tie here. It's 14-12. Cleaver. A threat to needle the ball into any tight spaces. Cleaver back to pass. He throws over the middle, and again, Fabian Offenbacher pretty much all alone in the center of the field catching that two-pointer.
Yeah, that looked like some sort of a broken coverage or broken assignment there. A little bit too open.
Simple button hook. No real Israel defender even near him.
Well, it was
Right,
well
Israel
run
takes
play.
over from their own 5-yard line. Avrami Farkas gets the ball, looking for a receiver, and finds Nabil B'nai Shalom. Again, crossing route, makes it up to the 14-yard line. So a nice little gain. Nice little gain. So far, the offenses have been in control of this game, Dovey.
Yes, neither defense with the stop. They've been playing very well, but the offenses have come through.
Israel will actually start at their own 12-yard line here, so a 7-yard gain on that play. Rami Farkas with the ball, the snap, looks over to his left again for B'nai Shalom. And there was some confusion to whether the flag was pulled, but it in fact was. But B'nai Shalom made it up to the 20-yard line, so Israel's looking at a short first down here.
German defender made a very nice grab with his left hand. Everyone thought he was going to make the grab with his right hand, and then they thought he had missed it. But he made the stop.
Farkas gets the snap, looking left and throwing
Going
left down
long.
the sideline to David Abel, and he's got the touchdown. Is it a touchdown? I couldn't
I
see
believe
whether
it's going
the
to
flag
be
was
first
pulled,
and goal from the 3.
and it was pulled before he got into the end zone. So David Abel with a long reception. David Abel faked him over at the 15-yard line and got the ball just before the end zone.
And as well as Avrami on the Farkas on the first couple of drives, dealt with that rush in his face. He's been making a point of releasing it earlier on this drive.
Ben Tobin split right. Nabil B'nai Shalom split left. And Farkas was looking for a bell towards the back of the end zone, but the ball was just thrown a little too high. Germany ball with Israel up 20-14 in a pretty offensive first half, Dovey.
And so it's still Israel ball.
It's correct.
Yes.
Israel still has the ball. Farkas looks right, throws towards
He's
the
got
left
Gideon
to
for the
Gideon Rice,
easy
who
score.
has the touchdown. Gideon Rice scores Israel's third TD of the day. Farkas with a bullet. Rice was open on the left. Really nobody near him. Very uncontested, Dovey.
And they're going for 1.
They're going for 1 here. Rice snaps it out to Farkas. Farkas looking, and sees a bell, and it's just out of his reach.
It was good defense.
Could have blocked his vision on that one, Dovey. Bell seemed to get a couple of hands on it, but maybe the defender distracted him somewhat.
Yeah, it's hard to make that catch when you think it's going to be deflected, and then even if it isn't actually, your hands are adjusting for the deflection almost automatically.
All right, German ball. It's from their own 5-yard line. Cleaver back in his own end zone. Passes in the middle. And nice little gain for Michael Bell. Michael, very active today. We've called his number a lot of times here.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Israel would love a stop right here before the first half to go into the first half with a little bit of a lead. Cleaver back to pass, looking left and throwing towards the middle of the field and hitting Fleming Klein, who gets a first down for Germany.
Not even a full yard over the first down marker.
So they do have a long way to go to get that touchdown now.
Being spotted exactly one yard past the first down marker. This is a good position for a defense to be in. I know Israel team coach Kenny Zwiebel feels that way. And the Israeli defenders are giving quite
Cleaver
a cushion
with the
here.
ball, looks to his left, and the
Deflected
pass is
and picked.
taken and intercepted. Intercepted. Number 9, Jonathan Curran. And a great tip.
Israeli team going crazy here on the bench.
Got to see the replay to see who tipped that ball, but it looked like it was Gidon
Chazoni's tip.
Chazoni's tip, and he tipped it right into the hands of Jonathan Curran, one of the new stars on defense for the Israel team, and Israel takes over
And now
just
taking
before
over
the
with
half.
good field position. Expect this to be less than either much more or
And we
much
have
less.
Tzvi
than
Greenstone
10
at
yards.
quarterback.
He's going to try to get out right.
Greenstone stopped just before the first down.
He wanted to be stopped just before the first down. Now they're going to take 2 deep shots.
Israel going with their second quarterback. Greenstone doesn't see much time, but they do put him in here and there, a la Taysom Hill for the New Orleans Saints. A little bit of a change of pace. Greenstone is more of a threat to run, would you say so?
Yes, no question. And here they are not interested in running at all, and they're not interested in any gain of less than 5 yards. I know that this is the Israeli coaching staff's philosophy. Here they're facing a 2nd and 1 to the middle. They'd rather have an incomplete than a 2-yard gain.
2 minutes to go. Tzvi Greenstone quarterbacking the Israel team. A quick back from Avrami Farkas, and the ball is tipped and intercepted by the Germans. And pull by Tzvi Greenstone, but
There's
there's
a flag on the field. The question is whether it was before or on the pass or afterwards. Now, if all the penalties are after the turnover, then the turnover will stand.
And Kenny Zwiebel, the Israel coach, is challenging that call. What seems to be the issue here, Dubby?
Well, Kenny thinks that the penalty was called on the interceptor before the turnover and actually causing the turnover. I don't think that is what the referees are calling. Kenny thinks that that there was contact with the quarterback's hand.
The interception will stand.
Yes.
We should make that clear to our audience. Just where the ball is placed is now the discussion.
And note that is actually Israeli referee Omer Sela making the
Sela.
call, which is effectively in favor of the German team, as one would expect. Is all the officials here are of the highest integrity. There's a penalty. The penalty is against Israel. However, I believe Israel intentionally took that penalty, and Germany is too clever for that. Yes, both teams realize that it is better for the defense to have first down and 4 away from the middle and be able to have take a bunch of shots deep than to get a cheap first down, just 1 yard pass. Israel intentionally committed a penalty, illegal procedure, and Germany declined the penalty.
Cleaver flicks the ball to Offenbacher. And again, a little bit of strategy being employed here by the Germans. Interesting. There is a little bit of strategy when it comes to first downs, as there really is only one per drive, and each team tries to position itself just beyond the line and get that extra play in. So second down here for Germany. We'll see if we get another one of those little flicks here just to get the ball over the midfield.
I will say it's very nice to see the teams, shaking hands and laughing about their joint realization, their co-strategy.
They're probably saying they would do the same thing. Cleaver back to pass. Second down, throws towards the middle of the field. And this one caught again. Michael Bell. Michael Bell, very busy today. Germany now with a first down.
And this team that's so crucial for both teams. I mean, Germany is a must-win, and for Israel it could be as well.
Yeah.
And still, it's really nice to see them smiling about the way it's almost as if they feel that the two teams together have outsmarted the officials.
Anyway, we
or
certainly
the rule book.
Yeah, correct. We have a very competitive game here on Field 1. Second day of the IFAF World Flag Football Championships. 20-14, Israel's leading. Cleaver back to pass, throws towards his left, and this one out of the reach of Michael Bell. Haven't been many of those today, Dovey, but that was one incompletion that
Yes.
Cleaver would probably like to have back.
Just wide of the mark.
1 more minute. We were just informed, as we don't have constant access to the clock, makes our jobs slightly more difficult here in terms of getting you the time. But we were just informed that there is 1 minute to play, so this could be really the last drive of the half. We'll actually probably not. Israel will probably get the ball back before
Israel
the
will
end
get
of
the
half.
ball back.
Yeah,
But
sure.
speaking of tactical gamesmanship, part of the consideration here for Germany is how much time to use
Looking for
on
Phillips,
these plays.
Fleming, and the pass is to a diving Achenbacher, who makes the catch at the German 10-yard line. But this is going to bring up third down. Third down, Germany will have 2 attempts now to stuff it into the end zone and tie this game, pending, of course, the extra point, whether they go for 1 or 2. But let's see if Germany can get the ball in. 30 seconds to go.
Expect aggressive
Cleaver,
defense by
back
Israel.
to pass. He's Fleming crossing the middle, but hits Michael Bell again to his left, and Michael avoids the flagpole.
There's a flag.
He avoided the flagpole, and he got into the end zone. Michael Bell ties this game. That Cleaver to Bell combination has been working all day, Dovey. Israel's going to have to solve that.
And now, an interesting decision for Germany.
And the official ruling just came down. Touchdown for Germany. Cleaver to Bell. And we have a tie game here.
In a tie game, Germany going for 2, and I believe the reason they're going for 2 is because they've got the half the distance. They'd rather have half the distance out of 10 yards than out of 5 yards and get a chance to go for 2, even though, of course, in a tie game, often you would expect to see a team go for 1. But they've got the whole second half ahead of them, so there's probably still plenty of scoring ahead of us.
Cleaver under center. They're going for 1 point. Cleaver rolling left, looking right, sees over the middle Fabian Achenbacher, and he gives Germany a 1-point lead, 21-20 just before the half here, Dovey. Let's see if Israel can mount a last 30-second rally here.
And I'm not sure why Israel didn't use a timeout between second and third down before. That killed some clock that I think they might like to have back.
Rami Farkas
Slightly
back
low
to
snap.
pass.
There's
He's back in a
another
cornerback
tip.
and a tip ball. That was up for grabs.
Disaster
Good thing Ben
averted.
Tobin knocked that down.
And there is a
but there is a
flag.
flag on the play. We'll have to wait and see. Illegal contact on the German defender.
Israel will have the ball on the
Israel's got the ball at the 15-yard line. First down. Israel trying to mount a last Minute rally here just before the end of the first half. Farkas rolls to his left and
There's
heaves
the
the ball
ball.
down
I doubt
towards
it's long
B'nai Shalom, but that ball's not going to get by Fabian Offenbacher. He's too good, and that was just thrown way too high. Not even Nabil B'nai Shalom can come down with that one, huh, Dovey?
Well, that was a very significant height advantage for the German defenders. Of course, there were a few of them there. There was no way it was going to get by. And will the Germans attempt a bomb in the remaining moments? Israel calls timeout to organize themselves for what looks to be a heave by the Germans.
They have to be very careful here, Dovey. Benjamin Cleaver has the ability to throw the ball into the opposing end zone from his own 5-yard line.
That's right.
So they got to watch out for any potential Hail Marys that they can score on here.
I don't see a tremendous amount of height on the Israeli defensive side. We see two defenders up. That's probably to prepare
There's
for a
two blitzes,
potential
right.
two quarterback
Svi
set.
Greenstone and Michael Tover ready
I
to
wonder
blitz.
if
They
both
both
of them
have their
will-
hands up. Israel
It's
has
quite
to be
possible that
very
one will
careful in this
immediately back
situation.
up.
They have to be very careful in this situation, Dovey. They have receivers who can go up and get the ball, so they have to
They
put
are both
pressure on
coming.
Cleaver. And Cleaver heaves the ball down the field. Oh, and the ball. Wow. I
Sigh of
feel-
relief on the Israeli side.
Feel a couple of those collective sigh of reliefs from the Israeli sideline. That ball was up for grabs, but fell harmlessly to the ground. And we end the first half, very entertaining first half, very offensive-minded first half. Germany 22 and Israel 20, and we'll be back in a moment with the continuation of this exciting game.
Jerusalem is modern, ancient, it's hectic, patient. Jerusalem is a beauty to behold. Its walls are old and domes are gold. Jerusalem is spicy, dynamic, it's iconic, panoramic. Jerusalem is inspiring, unique, it's simple and chic. Jerusalem is brimming with styles, vibrant, charismatic, abundant smiles. Cobblestone streets, colored with sweets. Eclectic orchestra of authentic beats. It's the shoot, the basta, the shawarma. It's all about good karma. It's people, gates and views, culture, art and muse. Jerusalem is tradition, innovation. It's about openness, recreation. It's a city, destination, a goal. Jerusalem is how it feels to behold. It's the knowledge, the courage, the drive to create. It's the source, the spirit, the reflection of faith. Jerusalem is Israel. It's Mediterranean chill. Jerusalem is real.
Okay, Danny Gewirtz here with Dovey Rabinowitz. Happy to bring you this very entertaining Israel-Germany game. Very, very crucial game, Dovey. I wonder what the coaches are telling both of their teams. What do you think they are telling their teams here at halftime?
Well, first of all, the intensity is just overflowing from both of the benches. Germany knows it's a must-win game, but for Israel it could be as well. That will only be determined later in the day. Germany, I would say, happy to be coming away with a 2-point lead at the half, although they had a shot at making it more at the very end there. They'll also start with the ball, so they're, overall there's a slightly better position for Germany, but still anybody's game.
Okay, Germany ready to begin the second half here at their own 5-yard line. They're up 22-20, and Cleaver goes back to pass, getting the snap, avoiding the flag pull from Michael Tover, and Offenbacher gets the ball.
There is a flag.
Tries to dip his way close to midfield, but there is a flag on the play. Ronnie Hayes called on that one.
And Coach Zwiebel said to me earlier that he's not too worried about the height advantage that any team can pose against them because of his backfield combination of Ronnie and Donnie. That's Ronnie Hayes and Donnie Eastman. They're not as tall as most players on. Well, they're not as tall as the tallest players on most teams, but Coach Zwiebel feels that he can outleap just about anyone.
The Israeli defenders clearly are having trouble with the taller and a slightly more aggressive German receivers. They've been terrific today, these German receivers.
Yes, and it's not. They're using their bodies to their advantage. And we're seeing Israel declining a penalty.
Okay. Germany with the ball before the midway line at their own 19. Cleaver back to pass, throws over the middle to Fleming Klein. He's been tough over the middle. Klein, very agile receiver.
But Israel making the stop about 4 yards in, which they don't terribly mind.
Right, now starts the real battle to defend this drive right here. Let's see if Michael Tover can harass the German quarterback, Benjamin Cleaver. He has had time, Cleaver, and has avoided the flag pull on several occasions. Cleaver
Yes,
back to pass, looking left, and through the hands, that was a hot one, through the hands of receiver Fabian Achenbacher.
Well, Cleaver and Tover, each for their height, have a lot of agility. They make quick moves, considering their high center of gravity. Cleaver has evaded Tover several times, just for an instant, enough to get away a pass that he wanted.
It's a tough combination to defend. Achenbach and Michael Bell both lined up in the middle of the field. Bell will be slapping it to Cleaver. Cleaver back in his own zone, throws over the middle and caught. And a pull, but deep into Israel territory. That is Daniel Phillips.
And
One
it's
of
a
the many
well-timed
tall,
route.
talented German receivers out there.
A well-timed route, keeping the ball out of the reach of the Israeli defender. And I should say defenders. It was really sandwiched between two defenders.
Germany with the ball deep into Israel territory at the 7-yard line, knocking on the door again. The score is 22-20, and Israel can't afford to fall behind this early in the half. Cleaver looking right and sees Achenbach.
He's got his man.
Achenbach catches the ball for an easy touchdown in the right corner of the end zone, and Israel now finds itself down by 8 points. And Germany will try to make it a 2-score game. And you know these halves, they roll quickly and it gets late early, Dovey.
2 scores would not be good for Israel. I mean, there is plenty of time. But this point will be significant.
Crowd swelling to a couple of hundred people out there.
And of course, that's just the people that are
braving
allowed
the
here
cold
with
and
COVID
overcast
restrictions.
weather here in Jerusalem. Bell, Cleaver under center. Cleaver looks
Looks-
left and tosses it to his snapper, Michael Bell, for the easy one-pointer. And Germany now up by 2 scores. Very significant, Dovey.
Yeah, so that play was designed similarly to one that we saw earlier, but with a different target and a 9-point lead. Israel can't let up.
They really have to make each drive count now. They have to score and keep up with this German team.
As a different rusher now.
Rai snapping it to Avrami Farkas. Farkas throws to his left to Tzvi Greenstone. Catches the ball at the Israel 11-yard line. Oh, maybe. Oh, no. Gave him an extra yard. So Israel
Greenstone-
has the ball at the 13-yard line.
Greenstone is in there, and he's also a very capable quarterback. So don't be surprised to see an occasional
He's
two
really
quarterback
jack of
set.
all trades. Farkas gets the snap, looking over towards his left, and Nabil B'nai Shalom stepped out of bounds just before the mid-layaway line, back a few yards before. So Israel will
Coach
have an
Zwiebel
important
being
third down.
careful to point out to the officials how his player had stepped out. Combination of good sportsmanship and savvy tactics.
Israel will be looking to pump this over, and
The
with a
hard
long
count worked.
and Farkas has a free play, and he gets the ball off before the flag pull, and Rise cannot come down with the ball. It was thrown a bit too high. The pass did look catchable though, Dovey.
It did. It was challenging, difficult.
Israel making a substitution. Davida Bell comes in the game for Tzvi Greenstone. Rise snaps it straight to Abel and then to Nabil B'nai Shalom, and he gets across the midfield for a very important Israel first down. Direct snap.
Crucial first down, and Nabil turned that into a full 6 yards into opposition territory.
Israel with the ball now at the German 19-yard line, 19 yards to go for a touchdown. Farkas with the ball. Here comes the rush. Farkas lets loose, way over the head of B'nai Shalom.
Overthrown.
He did have him open for a second, though, Dovey.
He had a window, just overthrew it.
Again, Israel wins this game. They clinch a spot in the quarterfinals. If they lose, well, it may come down to their next game against Mexico.
Yes,
And
Israel
you
can
do not
still
want to leave their
advance.
chances hanging on a game against Mexico, that talented Mexican team. Tzvi Greenstone
double
eventually
snap.
gets the ball
What we
from
talked
Farkas,
about,
and
Tzvi
Greenstone
looking to
runs
turn the
right,
corner,
and
does.
he avoids the flagpole, avoids another one. A couple of juke moves, and Greenstone delights the crowd with his fantastic jump, darting in and out, avoiding tackles. Exciting play, and a big gain for Israel.
There's your Taysom Hill, Danny.
That's right. He really is. He really is the Taysom Hill of this team. He quarterbacks, he runs, You have him on your fantasy team, Dovey? If you do, you can get some passing yards and some rushing yards.
That's right.
Anyway, Israel with the ball
And
just
now
outside the
he is
5-yard
under,
line.
Center. He's taking again
Pitch
a
back
double
and-
pass.
Greenstone.
looking to
Oh,
run. He is
Greenstone.
running, and he was
Greenstone faked out the rusher. Number 1, Heiko Kramer. Dovey, I think I still see his shoes out on the field.
And you'll notice the rusher there for the German team was their big, tall man. Well, that is a very, very difficult assignment for him to cover Greenstone.
Farkas not the agile rusher, so they got it into the hands of Greenstone, who simply outran the rusher.
Farkas is the Drew Brees of this team.
Farkas back to pass. Important points here for Israel. And he avoids the rush and throws it. Great catch. We couldn't see it, but apparently a fantastic catch. We're going to look at it.
Danny, I think Avrami heard us saying that he wasn't quite
Moshe
as
Shear.
agile, and he decided to prove us wrong.
He did.
Watch how he avoids the sack.
That was the key to that play, avoiding that sack. I didn't actually see the catch because it was beyond our view. Okay, Israel. Germany, we're now with the ball.
I'm not sure what penalty they could be considering besides perhaps.
We're hoping for a replay of that fantastic
and now
catch
the
on
officials
the side,
are
but
conferring. They seem uncertain, and so am I, how this could be offsides on the defense. We were all correct, but it doesn't make a difference. The call should not have been offsides against Israel, rather illegal rusher signaling. The result is the same either way.
10:22 left in the game. A very tight, well-played game on both sides. And it seems like this one's going to come down to the wire. Germany has the ball at their own 10-yard line, looking to move on the Israel defense. Cleaver gets the ball, looks towards his right, and finds again Michael Bell with the ball. Bell runs out of bounds, close to the 18-yard line. 10 minutes to go. And
What a tight game.
Israel needs to stop here, Dovey. It's as simple as that. Israel cannot allow Germany to go up by 2 scores this late in the half. You just don't get many opportunities.
Yes.
Germany with the ball actually at their own 21-yard line. They need 4 yards for a first down. Cleaver with the ball.
Rusher bit, so a different rusher comes in and
A
gets the
pull,
sack.
and an important pull right there.
That play worked out so perfectly for Israel. The hard count got Michael Tover to bite. What teams sometimes do in that situation is have the initial rusher drop back and a different rusher come in. A different rusher came in and recorded the sack.
That was Jonathan Curran on the great defensive play, and this is a crucial play in this game right here, Dovey.
And that takes such incredible coordination for a defense to manage that without some assignment being dropped.
Cleaver back to pass, looking towards the left side, and just beyond midfield is Fleming Klein, again coming up big for the Germans. He catches it for a first down. And Israel just having a tough time stopping Germany moving up the field.
It was a very well executed play, a very deep drop. The quarterback having no trouble gunning that ball in exactly when he needed to, where he needed to for the first down.
Michael Bell snapping it to Cleaver. First down for the Germans. Cleaver back to pass, throws it again to Fleming Klein. So there is sure-handed receiver. And again, Israel on their heels deep in their own end zone.
Well, these passes are so perfectly placed from a quarterback in such a deep drop that there's very little that Israel can do against that. Their defenders feast on interceptions normally, but the ball is just placed where you cannot intercept it. Obviously, they're waiting for some sort of miscue, mistake, opportunity to present itself.
Cleaver showing a lot of accuracy. Anyway, he gets the ball right now, rolling to his right, and the ball is, knocked down by Effie Michan. Great play by Effie, and actually almost picked off, but just out of the reach of a diving Ronnie Hayes. Third down coming up for the Germans. Israel is in must-stop territory if they want to have any chance of really winning this game. They got to make a stop right here. Cleaver back to pass, looks left and finds Fabian Affenbach. And it's going to bring up a fourth down at the 5-yard line. 7 minutes to go. Comes down to this pretty much.
Very, very key play, obviously.
We haven't had too many games on this field that have come down to the wire. There have been a couple of blowouts, but fortunately
we'll see how Germany comes out here. They're not going to be in a bunch. Many teams take a bunch approach here. They're spread.
Ball at the Israel 7-yard line. Cleaver under center. Fades back, looks right, and sees
I think they've got
Fleming Klein.
There is a flag.
Was it a touchdown? No, it's not. There is a flag. Klein went out of bounds just before the end zone, but let's see what this flag is about. And they rule it a touchdown against Israel. Wow. Touchdown for Germany, and let's see the play here. He rolls to his right. Fleming Klein gets it, and he scores.
They're going for 2. No, here, this is very interesting. They're going for 2 rather than taking the small benefit of 2.5 yards and going for 1. And after all, this is to make it a 2-score game.
Fleming Klein has looked so adept at going across the middle and getting that ball from Cleaver. It's been one of the real weapons for the German team today.
Almost unstoppable.
Cleaver back to pass, looking for Michael Bell, who falls into the end zone with the ball. Germany goes up again. 1 score. 30. It's 30.
It's a 2-score game. It's 37-27.
36-27.
That was a 2-point conversion. The scoreboard
37,
should read
27. Yep,
37-27.
so Germany goes up by 10. 9-10. It really doesn't matter, W. What matters is that it's a 2-score game. Israel will have to get the ball back twice and score both times to have a chance to win this important and crucial game. Farkas back to pass and sees Donnie Eastman, who is now coming to the game on offense.
Israel
That's it.
working quickly.
Coach Kenny Zweibel pulling out all the stops, getting Eastman in on offense for the first time today.
That's right.
Coach Zweibel told me that Eastman may see some time on offense, and if he's in, that means it's a crucial time and Israel has to score. So Eastman playing both ways. Farkas with the ball and throws long to B'nai Shalom, and he gets the ball ahead of the
Free.
defense, and he runs in for the touchdown. A great touchdown for Israel, and more importantly, a quick touchdown for Israel.
That's just what the doctor ordered.
B'nai Shalom slipped in between the 2 German defenders, ran about 10 yards into the end zone, and a big celebration for Israel. And Israel's right back in this with an opportunity to get the ball back to score again.
Back in business.
But they must hold the German team. That's been easier said than done today.
Going for 2 here.
Pitch
Double-
back, Farkas
doubles.
to
Now that's
Greenstone.
worked well.
Greenstone again. He's having a tough time keeping up with Greenstone. Oh,
Buys himself
He's-
plenty of time, but it's hard to find a defender in this sort of situation.
Greenstone running back, and the ball falls harmlessly in the end zone.
Quite a collision
And
between the German defenders.
I don't know if the German defender there knows where he is right now, Dove. That was a pretty hard collision. And he's getting medical attention in the German end zone. 3:20 left in the game. Israel needs the ball back. They need a stop right here. And the German defender gives the thumbs up, able to walk off under his own power. And always good to see that, Dovey, after a collision like that.
Oh, yes, indeed. With a 4-point lead now, Israel does not have any sort of option of giving up a touchdown and then scoring and getting extra points.
Yeah, this is
That a touchdown would put the game virtually out of reach. Even a long clock-killing drive would be a very big problem for Israel.
Israel looking at a huge defensive stop here. They need this to give them a place in the quarterfinals of the 10th edition of these World Flag Football Championships here in Jerusalem. Comes down to this series.
Up front.
Cleaver back to
defense
pass
by-
and throws. Ooh, overthrew just about every way, and a dangerous pass thrown by Cleaver. Looks like his receivers crossed him up a bit there.
Yes, I don't think that was the plan. And a lot of Israeli defenders maybe wishing that they had been playing further back, actually, less aggressively on that play. But as a whole, I'd feel that the Israeli team is doing the right thing by playing up, playing all their players relatively shallow defense, tight defense.
Anyway, an important down wasted by Germany. They're on 2nd down. And Cleaver back to pass and finds Michael Bell for a short gain over the middle, and Israel has a timeout. Israel using their timeouts now, trying to prevent the clock from going any further. Probably a lot easier to stop the clock when they have the ball as opposed to
Exactly.
when they don't have the ball. So Coach Zweibel using one of his timeouts, 2:39 to go in the game. Well, if you like games with tension, this is for you.
Come to the right place.
Wow.
We've got a 3rd and moderately long, 3rd and 13, I believe, for the middle. Team Israel Really, the first two plays was playing very aggressively. I think that they still will on these next two. I mean, on this next one, and then if they do force an incompletion, then the next one they'll be just defending the middle line.
Michael Tover ready for rush, and boy, could Israel use a big play by Michael Tover right now.
Michael gets in pretty quickly.
Michael Bell snapping the ball.
And even with this
All
tall
of
quarterback,
Cleaver.
he does a bit to disrupt the middle of the field vision.
Cleaver with the ball. Throws to his left and caught. Is it a catch? And
Incomplete.
no,
It is
the
incomplete.
referee saying the ball hit the ground. And Germany faced now with a long fourth down.
Fourth down.
Israel has a 2-minute warning to play with. And if they make a stop here, Dovey, wow, anything can happen.
You see the defenders already starting to set up right by the middle line.
2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Donnie Eastman set up a bit behind the middle line, spy into the backfield, and also be ready for a surprise bomb.
And a big crucial play right here. Fourth down.
Watch for Donnie to back up.
And
And he is already backing up.
14 yards for the first down. Cleaver goes back to pass. He's got to throw it a distance, and he does, and he's got, wow, Daniel Phillips got behind the defense. I don't know if they were expecting that, Dovey, but Phillips beat him deep.
There was always that possibility, as I said before the play. Israel had to be ready for the bomb. Still, it's a gutsy move by Germany, and it paid off. I'd love to see it on the replay if anyone hears me on in the control box.
Here we
yes,
go.
thank you.
We will get that replay, but
Well, we're not seeing what led to it.
unfortunately, we're only seeing the tail end of that play.
We're seeing how great a throw and great a catch it was.
Yeah, well,
tactically.
Cleaver anyway gets the ball and finds Offenbach.
Scored an
Offenbach
extra point.
scores the extra point, and Germany goes out to a commanding 2-score lead, 43-33. And this game may be just out of reach for Israel.
Well, under 2 left. They shouldn't really have a chance. They've already burned one of their timeouts. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to throw a quick bomb right now.
And a short pass of Rami Farkas
Stopped inbounds.
to Moshe Shear.
Audibles.
Israel really in hurry-up mode now. They got to score, and they got to score quickly.
Donnie's going deep.
Farkas,
Moshe Shear steps out.
Shear again.
133. 133.
Israel needs another yard and a half for a first down. Actually, 2 yards. Ball placed back a bit by referee Omer Sella, one of Israel's finest
I expect
referees.
Israel to go deep here.
Farkas gets the ball, looks downfield, looking B'nai Shalom's
There's
way,
Donnie.
and he throws it, and that's going to be
Overthrown.
out of bounds. Throw not at all catchable.
Donnie had a nice move, very subtle, but he did get his man to bite a little bit.
1:28 to go in the game, and it's coming down to this play whether or not Israel will be able to continue this drive. Fourth down and about 2 yards to go for the first down. They have to look to score quick, but first they have to get a first down, Dovey.
The other thing is point differential does matter. Putting up another few points.
Quick pass, and they got the first down to Nabil B'nai Shalom.
He's out of bounds. He's out of.
Should say it's Nabil, not Nabil.
And they actually turned that into a nice gain. Not just the first down, but a full 6 yards in.
Israel with the ball inside German territory at the 19-yard line. Farkas gets the ball. Looks to his left, finding B'nai Shalom, who gets about a 10-yard gain and then steps out of bounds, stopping the clock. 1:20 to go. Israel has the ball at their 10-yard line. If they score, they got to find some way to get the ball back from the Germans, though. Israel did use one of their timeouts, and they have one left.
Sorry, Danny, I was eavesdropping on
Maybe can you share with us
conversation
what
between
Coach
Abel and Coach Zwiebel.
Farkas drops back to pass, and
There's a
his
sack.
flag is pulled, and there's a sack. Coach Zwiebel using his last timeout, and things slowly slipping away for the Israel team right here.
Well,
They get backed up to their 19-yard line.
the result has not been in doubt already for a good few minutes, but the point differential could prove decisive in deciding
If
who
there's a
advances to the
three-way
playoffs.
tie. If there is a
Exactly.
three-way tie, then those points are. But if two teams are
Right.
tied for second place, then it's really head-to-head.
Yes, but Israel can't and Germany won't be in a two-way tie for second place. The only way there could be a tie is if Israel now goes ahead and beats Mexico. That would force a three-way tie.
That's a tall task for the Israeli team. Anyway, Farkas has the ball, throws towards his left, and that ball is intercepted. And any hopes Israel has of coming back in this game have just been doused.
Well, it puts the game on ice, but the hopes were already over for that. Again, Israel has to look ahead now to the final game, which will be the decisive game against Mexico. Germany also has to look to that game. Germany has not secured their place in the playoffs yet. It depends on the results of that game. Yesterday, Germany had a good but close loss to Mexico, so it's all going to come down to that game. Germany does want to try to hang another point on Israel here for the sake of that potential tiebreaker.
Cleaver back to pass in his own end, looking just to make some sure passes. Interception is not something he needs right now, and Cleaver has been right on spot with his short passes today. Bell with the snap to Cleaver. Looking downfield and heaving it downfield to
Might have it.
Achenbach, and he makes an incredible catch between Donnie Eastman and Effie Michan. I'll tell you, it's been Achenbach, Bell, Fleming all day long.
Really a terrific pass.
Cleaver just heaves that ball towards the left side of the end zone,
I was about to say,
and Achenbach
Cleaver-
just comes down with it.
Cleaver has both the ability, the reach, and unlike many players, he is not much affected by the very, very dangerous Israeli rush. His vision is not obscured.
Cleaver back to pass, going for the extra point
As
here.
we see
And
here,
he
he
avoids
is shifty.
and finds Achenbach all alone. No Israeli defender within 10 yards of him as he scores the extra point. And Germany
And
pouring-
does this
pouring
leave
it on at
time
this
for,
point.
for Israel to actually attempt to give Germany a bit back? Turnabout is fair play. Just give them some more points against, which are crucial for the potential tiebreaker? I guess it does.
Farkas in his own end zone, throwing long.
There's Adiel.
And another great catch. Nabil B'nai Shalom.
Out of bounds at the 2-3 yard line.
Israel really has to be encouraged by the play of this B'nai Shalom. He looks to be like the future
This
of
could be the
Israel
next
flag football.
6, 8, 10 world championships.
As long as somebody's throwing it long, he's going to get under it.
10 years from 10 championships from now is 20 years from now. He'll still be significantly younger than you and me.
Wow. There usually is an all-star team named after the tournament, and I have no doubt that Nabil B'nai Shalom will make that team. First team, second team, I'm not quite sure.
But hopefully first we'll see him in the playoffs.
David Abel catches the extra point. But again, elementary at this point. Israel does make it a bit closer. Oh, was not the extra point.
No.
We
It
were
was
thrown off. That was a touchdown. Might have been
That
a
was
bell.
a touchdown.
Right,
And
B'nai Shalom did
you
not hit the.
and quarterback of Henry Farkas both thought that was extra point attempt. They didn't realize that
B'nai
Aniel
Shalom
B'nai
stepped out of
Shalom-
bounds before the end zone. Correct.
Exactly.
All right. Well, you know what?
And he
If
stepped
the
out of
Israeli
bounds.
quarterback can make a mistake, so can I.
No, not you, Danny. Never.
Farkas back to pass. Here's the extra point. Throws it to the right side.
Gideon
And
Rees.
Gideon Rees makes the catch in the end zone. Israel still behind by 2 scores. Simply just.
And
playing
don't
out the
tell me
rest of the
that
game
Germany still has time for another.
You think we can see another Cleaver to Offenbach bomb here?
Let's see how much time there is. There are still 30 seconds.
Okay, let's see what Cleaver has up his sleeve. And he's going to go conservative to Achenbach, dipping his
And
way
he's stopping
across
in
the
bounds.
15-yard line. Cleaver, back to pass. Again, heaves the ball.
That looks like offensive pass interference to me.
And the Israeli sideline calling for a pass interference on Daniel Phillips. But
Yeah,
they're
they
not-
were right.
They're not going to get the call, though. But I'll tell you, these heaves by quarterback Benjamin Cleaver
And
to his
everyone is
talented
dangerous. There
receivers.
is a
Everyone
flag
is
on the
dangerous
field.
and quite entertaining.
Yes.
You're just waiting there.
And yes,
they
they
will
do
call
get
it.
the call.
Yep, they will call it.
So they got it right. You know, you can tell. That's what I thought.
That's not going to phase the German quarterback too much, not at this point of the game.
Are we even sure after all this scoring that it's more than a 1 touchdown lead? Yes, I suppose it is.
Cleaver under center, throws to his left, and Achenbach harmlessly goes out of bounds close to the 20-yard line. They'll bring up a 4th down for the German team.
There are
7 seconds to go.
on the clock.
This just may be the last play of the game. Maybe Israel will have one more shot. We'll see another B'nai Shalom highlight.
It's been a circus, a very entertaining show.
And Achenbach with the ball, and he's dipping his way towards the end zone. And
What a smart play by Donnie Eastman.
he let him.
Donnie Eastman purposely did not pull the flag. And in this case, Donnie Eastman did outsmart his German counterpart. His gamesmanship earlier did not work. The German, the German receiver could have taken a knee, or simply dropped the ball to the turf to stop the clock for the first down. But Donnie won that battle of wits. The Germans win the game. And both teams, I think, having earned a lot of respect from each other, learned a lot about each other.
And unfortunately, this is going to hurt Israel's chances to move up to the next round. They're going to need a Hanukkah miracle, even though it isn't Hanukkah anymore. They may need that miracle when they face the Mexicans.
They'll need a big win over Mexico. Mexico, of course, right now the top-ranked team in the group, undefeated.
Germany does have 2 silver medals in the 9 past World Championships games, so they have been there. They have a good team. They're talented.
And look at this exuberant German group.
The way they look today is no telling how far they can go. There's no telling how far they can go. I'll tell you, they gave Mexico trouble. And anyway, we'll be back with hopefully one of the.
So will they. Certainly, one of these two teams will be. And it's possible both. We've seen 2 teams that potentially could go very, very far, all the way to the end of this tournament, and we'll see which one of them or both survive and go into the playoffs.
Thank you. We'll be back. Danny Gewirtz with Dovi Rabinowitz, and we'll be back in a few moments with the next game. Maybe even an interview with one of the German stars of this game.
Let's take a shot.
Jerusalem is modern, ancient, it's hectic, patient. Jerusalem is a beauty to behold. Its walls are old and domes are gold. Jerusalem is spicy, dynamic. It's iconic, panoramic. Jerusalem is inspiring, unique. It's simple and chic. Jerusalem is brimming with styles. Vibrant, charismatic, abundant smiles. Cobblestone streets, colored with sweets. Eclectic orchestra of authentic beats. It's the shoot, the basta, the shawarma. It's all about good karma. It's people, gates and views. Culture, art and muse. Jerusalem is tradition, innovation. It's about openness, recreation. It's a city, destination, a goal. Jerusalem is how it feels to behold. It's the knowledge, the courage, the drive to create. It's the source, the spirit, the reflection of faith. Jerusalem is Israel. It's Mediterranean chill. Jerusalem is real.
Hi, Danny Gewirtz here with the German national team quarterback, Benjamin Cleaver. Benjamin, great game, crucial for both Israel and Germany. How do you like your chances now?
I mean, we knew it was a game for us, do or die, and because we lost to Mexico yesterday, so I mean, now we have a step in the door, I would say. Israel has to do their job now against Mexico, which will be tough. We have to win Thailand, obviously, but now we have a step ahead. That was the plan.
You have an incredibly talented group of receivers. Fabian Achenbach and Daniel and Michael Bell and Fleming.
And Daniel Phillips.
Yeah, Daniel Phillips. Great receiving core. You must feel very, very confident when you go back to pass and you throw the ball, just thinking one of these guys are going to come down with it.
Yeah, I mean, I said it to the team before. I've played loads of the World Championship, European Championships. This offense and this team we have this year is the best we ever had. And like this receiver squad, as you said, like, you know, if I throw the ball, there's a good chance that someone will come down with it. Yeah,
and it seemed every time you went back, there was a receiver catching your ball. Wow. Your next game is against Thailand. Probably going to be a victory for you guys. Israel has a much tougher task against the Mexican team, so the chances are more than 50-50 that you're going to move up into the quarterfinals. What are your feelings at this point?
That's the plan. I mean, that was our main goal. Obviously, everyone here wants to take a ticket for the World Games. That's why you have to reach the playoffs. And as I said, we're one step closer. It's not done yet, but as you said, we have a good chance against Thailand and hope we will do it.
Fabulous performance by you and your core of receivers there. You guys are going to be tough to beat if they get to the finals. So good luck to the German team, and thank you very much for your couple of minutes. Oh, I did want to mention one more thing. Benjamin Cleaver is organizing in his hometown in
Waldorf in Germany.
In Waldorf in Germany, and he'll tell you about the Big Bowl, which he's organizing.
Yeah, we're organizing Big Bowl, which is an international tournament with over 14 countries attending, 63 teams, ladies division, men's division. You guys have been there a couple of times, like Danny has been there, Eastman, and yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So it's a good way to make and sustain
Obviously.
friendships. Thank you very much,
Thank you, guys.
Look forward to our next game.